Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on short course delivery in Aptem. I'll just give everyone a couple of minutes to join. We've got quite a few people joining the webinar at the moment, so if you just hang tight for a minute or so, and then we'll get started. Thank you, everyone, and welcome again. Before we get started, I'll just run through a little bit of housekeeping for everyone. We are going to be recording this webinar, and we will send a copy out so you can be shared with your colleagues. It will also be available on our help centre. You are all on mute, so if you have any questions or queries, please put them in the questions or chat channel where relevant on the right hand side of the screen, and one of my colleagues will be able to support you. And we will have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar where it might be possible to answer some questions live. But if we don't have time to answer all the questions, we'll make sure a response is provided as part of the follow-up to the webinar. So your hosts today are myself and Paul Glass. I'm the Head of Implementation here at Aptem. Prior to joining Aptem, I worked across college and training provider space in a variety of roles, which has helped me better understand the challenges you're all facing and how to best use Aptem to support these. I'm also joined by my silent partner, Paul Glass. Unfortunately, he has lost his voice slightly, but he will be around in the background helping answer your questions and any queries in the chat channel. Paul is one of the implementation consultants here at Aptem. He also has many years working in the sector. And like I say, although we're not going to necessarily hear from Paul today, I'm sure you will feel Paul's presence if you do have any questions. So thanks everyone for joining us today. I'm really pleased to be here to talk about how Aptem can transform the way you deliver short courses and non-apprenticeship funded programs. As the sector continues to evolve, providers are increasingly looking for ways to streamline processes, meet diverse funding requirements, and more important, offer an engaging learner experience. Whether you're delivering commercial courses, bootcamp programs, adult skills funded programs, or any other type of provision, Aptem offers the flexibility, compliance features, and learner-centric tools to help you succeed. And today we're going to look at how you can leverage Aptem to support different funding models, to simplify administration and build outstanding learner journeys, all while maintaining robust compliance. By the end of the session, you'll have a clear view of how Aptem can make your processes smoother, your delivery more flexible, and your teams more efficient. So I'll just run through what we're going to try and cover today. First, we'll start by understanding non-apprenticeship programme requirements, looking at the type of delivery models you might be supporting and the key differences you'll need to consider compared to apprenticeship delivery. Then we'll move into streamlined enrolment, exploring how Aptem's flexible onboarding tools can simplify the learner journey right from the start. After that, we'll focus on configuring programs in Aptem, looking at how you can set up tailored program and ILR templates when needed, and support both funded and commercial provision effectively. And finally, we'll talk about maintaining learner engagement, showcasing tools like flexible learning plans, sub-programs, and dynamic reviews that help keep learners on track and engaged throughout their journey. We'll wrap up with a quick summary and then open the floor to answer some of your questions. So, let's get started. Now, before we get into today's session, it would be great to hear a little bit more about the type of provision you're involved with. We'll open a poll to find out what type of non-apprenticeship provisions you currently deliver or are planning to deliver. For example, are you running boot camps, AEB programs, commercial short courses, or something else entirely? It's really useful for us to understand the range of delivery models in the room. And don't worry, if you're not currently delivering, you're happy for you to just sit and listen. So if we can just open up the poll. And I'll just give you a couple of minutes to answer the question shown. We were limited to 5 options here. So if there are any options that aren't listed that you're hoping to deliver, then please do pop them in chat just so we can be aware of those as well. I'll just give another couple of minutes for people to answer. Again, just another few seconds and then we'll share those results. So from that, we can see that we've got a real mix of delivery types in the room, but there's a big emphasis on commercial courses. And that's exactly why flexibility is so important when it comes to delivering non-apprenticeship programs. So with commercial courses, we'll certainly have a look at today at how the different flexible functions in Aptem can support, but it will also cover a lot of the other course types available. So if I just go back to my slides. So in the world of non-apprenticeship provision, there's a broad spectrum of delivery models. You might be delivering commercial courses funded by learners or employers, where the focus will be on quality, speed and return on investment. There might be adult skills programs funded by AEB, which often requires ILR reporting and learner outcome evidence. Boot camps funded by the DfE might need evidence of enrolment, learning and progression into employment. And devolved programs, which can also include boot camps funded by local skills board or combined authorities, where often local policy shapes eligibility, curriculum and compliance requirements. Or other examples you might be looking at are study programs, employability courses, short courses and multiply programs. Each of these comes with different compliance and tracking requirements. Some prioritise flexibility and learner satisfaction, while others have robust evidence rules and progression metrics. Aptem is designed to flex around these needs, giving you the tools to stay compliant without creating additional extra admin. So let's consider some of the features of Aptem you can use to support a range of alternative requirements. So now we've taken a look at the types of programs you might be delivering and the different requirements you need to think about. Let's move on to the next key area of enrolment. Getting learners off to a smooth start is absolutely critical, whether you're working with funded programs or commercial delivery. In this next section, we'll explore how Aptem's flexible enrolment tools can help you streamline the process, reducing administrative time, improving compliance, and making the learner journey more engaging right from day one. Aptem's flexibility at the application stage is one of the biggest advantages when delivering non-apprenticeship programs. If we consider some of the key features, you can tailor your application form, building custom application forms in Aptem to collect exactly the data you need for different programs. Whether you're enrolling for a short commercial course, an adult education budget funded course or a boot camp, you can capture the right learner information, eligibility evidence and consents. You can use different field types, including texts, drop-downs or uploads to suit your different program requirements. Aptem also enables you to embed compliance checks within the application process, meaning learners can't progress unless key fields or evidence are captured. This reduces the risk of missing vital information that could cause issues later on, whether that's proof of address for devolved funding or consent to learning for GDPR compliance. You can also build tailored workflows into your application and can configure these differently depending on the funding stream or program type. For example, a bootcamp application might trigger additional skills assessment and employment commitment forms, whereas a commercial course might move a learner straight to payment and enrolment. The benefits this brings include streamlined applicant onboarding, And because Aptem guides applicants step by step and ensures everything is captured at the right time, learners have a smoother journey into your program. This will reduce drop-offs and speed up the time from inquiry to starting learning. By automating compliance checks and structuring workflows carefully, we can dramatically reduce the potential for manual errors, meaning fewer back and forths with learner and a smoother audit trail. And finally, the tailored journey makes it easier for both learners and staff. Learners feel supported with clear instructions, and your staff can work from clear, complete learner files without needing to chase missing documents or eligibility details. Whatever type of program you're delivering, Aptem provides the flexibility to manage applications your way, while maintaining compliance and a high-quality learner experience. Now that we've explored how Aptem can streamline the application process, let's look at a few practical examples to show you just how flexible and tailored the learning journey can be, depending on the type of program you're delivering. In this first example, you can see how we've tailored the application process to support a bootcamp program. We've included eligibility questions to ensure we capture the right information for both internal checks and funding partner requirements. One of the real strengths of Aptem is that all reporting or onboarding responses can be easily pulled into reports, meaning you have the evidence you need for any additional funding or audit requirements. We can also build mandatory steps into the application, for instance, displaying important documents like a privacy notice, and requiring learners to formally confirm their receipt as part of your process. This gives you a compliant, auditable record while keeping the learner journey simple and clear. In this second example, we've taken a slightly different approach, showing you how you might configure a more streamlined application process for a commercial program. Here, you can keep the process lighter touch, collecting only the personal information that's absolutely necessary and focusing on course information, payment details, or key terms and conditions. HTML steps within onboarding allow you to make this journey really engaging. You can embed videos, images, or rich text to showcase your offer and keep the learner experience seamless. Importantly, there's no limit to the number of different application processes you can create in Aptem, meaning you can fully customize the journey based on the type of course, funding requirement, or business model you're supporting. It's also important to remember that the learner declaration can be fully customized to match the specific program requirements. In the example on the left, we've designed a declaration tailored for a bootcamp course, reflecting the compliance wording needed for this funded provision. In contrast, the example on the right shows a simpler declaration, more suited for a commercial course, where no reference to funding is required. What's more, all onboarding information captured through the ILR step or extended ILR steps, including custom questionnaires in the extended ILR step, can be presented in a generated PDF alongside the correct declaration wording. Or if you prefer, custom questionnaire data can be pulled into a review document, providing even more flexibility about how to record and present key onboarding information. As you can see, Aptem gives you the tools to create an onboarding experience that's fit for purpose, whether you're working with funded or commercial programs. Now let's take it a step further and look at how you can configure entire programs in Aptem, aligning delivery, compliance, and learning experience all in one place. Once a learner is enrolled, ensuring their information is correctly captured for funding remains critical. Aptem helps by making ILR management smarter and easier. First, if we think about some of the key features, you can set up ILR templates for all funding streams. Whether you're delivering AEB, bootcamps, study programs, or devolved funding, you can create specific ILR templates that reflect the data needed for each of those funding models. This avoids a one-size-fits-all problem and helps keep your submission accurate. Within the templates, Aptem checks your ILR data to catch errors, so things like missing ULNs, incorrect postcode formats, or mismatched dates. This real-time checking ensures that issues are spotted and corrected at source rather than during painful audit periods. And Aptem can also integrate with your MIS, CRM, or finance systems, ensuring that learner and funding data flows smoothly. This reduces duplication and ensures consistent reporting across platforms. The benefits of this are multiple. Accurate ILR funding means accurate ILRs mean accurate funding. Using templates and validation rules protects your funding claims and improves your confidence at audit. By minimizing data errors, you're far less likely to face clawbacks during funding audits, giving you financial security and peace of mind. And funding rules and ILR requirements we know change regularly. Aptem's configurable templates means you can quickly adapt without major rework or downtime. In short, Aptem not only helps you meet your ILR obligations, it helps you stay ahead of them. If you just look at that in practice, when creating your ILR templates at program level, you have the option to select from a range of program types and sources of funding. This information will then be used to populate each learner's ILR, simplifying the creation of your ILR records. As with apprenticeship courses, once created, you can manage any exceptions at learner level, giving a fully flexible ILR management system. Batch files can be extracted as a whole or for each program type, simplifying the process of checking your data prior to each return, where different teams may be responsible for different funding streams. You also have the flexibility of using Aptem's group structure to organise access to data, giving full control on who can view and manage each of your funding streams. However, I'm aware that many of you are delivering commercial training or non-funded course. Aptem can also fully support this alongside your funded provision. The key features would be that Aptem allows you to deliver programs that don't require ILR submissions. These are perfect for short courses, professional development, CPD, or corporate contracts. You can still use all the functionality to track learner progress, manage resources, and report on outcomes without the complexity of the ILR funding data. You can create custom workflows for commercial learners that differ from your funded program processes. For example, you might be able to skip some eligibility checks or ESFA document steps, creating a faster, more direct experience for these learners. And if you deliver similar content across both funded and non-funded learning, like digital resources, e-learning modules, or assessments, you can reuse and share these easily within Aptem. This can maximize your investment in content development and reduces duplication. So the benefits of this would allow you to grow revenue. Commercial programs provide an opportunity to grow income beyond traditional funding streams, diversifying your business model. And if you're managing both your funded and non-funded provision within a single system, this will simplify operations for your staff and also provide a consistent learner experience. And because Aptem removes unnecessary steps like ILR data entry for commercial learners, it means your admin load will be lighter, helping you to scale more efficiently. In short, Aptem's giving you the freedom to expand your offering without increasing your operational burden. Once your programs are configured, you can easily manage learner engagement by tailoring their experience and tracking progress against the specific program details you've set up. An engaging learner journey is critical for non-apprentice learners, especially where motivation can drop out without the structure of a longer apprenticeship program. Aptem's learning plan functionality is designed to help you deliver flexible, personalised learner journeys that still maintain compliance. And some of the features of those would be an aligned learning plan, building learning plans directly aligning to your program objectives, whether it's for a boot camp, a short commercial course, or an AEB funded skills course. This ensures that learning remains focused and measurable. The fact that you can include various types of content, SCORM packages, videos, file uploads, tasks, milestones, allows you to cater to different learning styles. Visual learners, independent learners, and those needing more structure will all benefit from the learning plan. And you can easily adapt learning objectives to individual learners' starting points and goals. This supports personalised pathways without losing the ability to track evidence and progression. The benefits of that would be to allow learners to receive tailored content and milestone based on their needs, helping them feel more engaged and valued. When learners see material that's relevant and achievable, their motivation increases, leading to higher completion rates. And whether your funding requires minimum learning hours, specific outputs, or evidence of progression, Aptem's flexible plans can be configured to meet those needs. In short, Flexible learning plans in Aptem combine personalisation with accountability, delivering better outcomes for both learners and organisations. But while your program learning plan gives you the foundation, sub-programs allow even more sophistication in how we design, deliver and track learner journeys. And I always say think of sub-programs as building blocks. They allow you to integrate elements of delivery and align ILR data at different stages of a program. For example, you might have different modules on a commercial course that build into a bigger program. Each of these could be built as a sub-program and added when the learner is ready to take or is paid for the next module. Adding the sub-program would release the associate learning plan activities, allowing a course to be built up over time. So again, if we have a look at the key features, you can create sub-programs within Aptem that represent different components of delivery, such as separate skills blocks as mentioned, optional units or employability modules. They can be timed, structured and delivered independently, but still tied back into your main program. For funded programs, you can map ILR data collection and reporting points to these sub-programs. This ensures your data accurately reflects real-world delivery stages, which is important for compliance and performance reporting. And sub-programs also allow you to not just report on overall learner progress, but on progress against specific components, giving tutors and managers much better visibility. So the benefits will allow you to build flexible, scalable courses that meet different learners' needs and still maintain structured tracking. It's easier to identify where learners are succeeding or struggling and intervene early where necessary. And the flexibility for funding is particularly valuable for programs where certain funding conditions apply at different stages or where modular achievement needs to be evidenced. In summary, sub-programs allow to keep your delivery flexible and modular without losing sight of compliance or quality. Sorry. So in this example, I've set up a sub-program to manage different outcomes for a bootcamp program and attach the relevant ILR component aim to each of these. So we can see we have 3 sub-programs set up, and for each of those, it's going to pull in a different ILR component aim. Adding the sub-program at learner level will add the relevant aim into their ILR, simplifying administration throughout the program. And we can see that this has been effective because we can now see that once that's been applied, that qualification has been added into the learner profile with the date selected. Effective learning monitoring is critical for successful outcomes and funding compliance, and Aptem makes it easy and flexible. Again, if we think of the key features, Aptem comes with very flexible built-in review functionality that you can use to monitor learner progression at key points. Reviews can be scheduled, assigned, and tailored to your program needs. You can create feedback forms, assessment templates, and individualized tracking documents to suit different types of learners, delivery programs, or program requirements. And reviews can also be used to build bespoke documents, such as compliance declarations, milestone achievements, or program-specific documents that require formal signatures. This means you can create exactly what your delivery and funding model require without having to work outside of the platform. The benefits of this, regular reviews can provide clear data on learner progression, which helps tutors and managers quickly identify those who are succeeding and those who may need additional support. You have strengthened intervention strategies through early identification of issues through scheduled reviews. This allows for timely intervention, helping keep learners engaged and on track. And since reviews can be fully customised and digitally signed, they support the monitoring and requirements for various funding streams, including newer compliance models that require evidence of active learning and progression. It's also worth mentioning the new review summarization feature that is coming soon for enterprise customers. This provides an at-a-glance summary of review content from review meetings, further streamlining quality assurance and compliance monitoring process. Lastly, review responses are available through OData exports, allowing you to analyse learner progression trends, support funding claims, and create custom reports as needed. And so I'm now going to just jump into Aptem to do a demo of some reviews I've created to see how this works in practice. So we're going to have a look at this for a live bootcamp learner. And on this learner, I have set up some milestone reviews to show you how flexible reviews can support both compliance and learner engagement. If I look in my finished reviews, I can see that I've already completed milestone 1, and a PDF document of that review will be generated to formally record the evidence for that milestone. But I've also planned a milestone 2 and milestone 3 review. I can access these reviews at any time to record information, update progress, and ultimately complete and sign them with the learner. So if we have a closer look at the milestone 2 review, I've included fields to capture information about the training delivery, which is essential for bootcamp funding claims. I've included some conditional logic within the review form. So for example, if a learner exits the course, the system will trigger additional mandatory fields to allow me to collect the reason for dropout, which might be required by the funding body. I can do those in a list form so that I'm collecting from a straight list of options which will support reporting. If the learner remains in learning, then those questions won't show. Similar to other reviews, I can save each section as I complete it, and I can request learner input before the final review meeting if I want learners to complete any of these sections. And once complete, the review can be finalised into a PDF that's ready for signatures. You'll also notice that I've included the meeting details on this review. This section allows me to upload a transcript of the review meeting for additional context or make notes about the meeting. If you have the Teams communicator connector enabled, you can actually automatically pull the meeting transcript into the review, so you can get the transcript rather than attaching a file. And for enterprise customers, there'll soon be the option to summarize the transcript, helping support efficient form completion and freeing up more time during meetings to focus on learner progression. So for this learner, I'm now going to complete the milestone 2 review to show them successfully completing their program. So I'm going to add some completion dates into this review. And save that section, and then I'm going to put my milestone 2 claim date. Once all sections are complete and I click finish, that will then generate a PDF version of my review for that form. It'll allow myself to sign and will then send that review to the learner to sign. And when I save that review, we'll see that it will move from the planned section into the finished section, but this is showing me that I'm still waiting for my learner to sign that form. As you can see, Aptem's flexible reviews make it very simple to capture the information you need accurately, efficiently, and in a way that supports compliance and progression. Now, if we move on, we take a look at how we can automate compliance processes as a final section of our presentation. So I just need to nip back to the slideshow. So managing process manually is time consuming and can lead to inconsistency or errors. And Aptem Process Automation is a real game changer to support with this. Aptem allows, through process automation, for you to automate workflows for ILR funded programs, including important compliance activities like eligibility checks, learning plan updates, and exit processes. Compliance validations embedded into the workflow, helping ensure that requirements such as eligibility evidence, learning start dates, and learning hours are captured and checked automatically at the right time. Custom automation for non-ILR programs allows automation tracker based on ILR data. However, for non-ILR programs, you can set up bespoke trackers, giving you the ability to monitor learner changes, progressions, or completions in a structured way. The benefits of this will reduce the manual burden on administrative and delivery teams, freeing up time to focus on supporting learners and improving delivery quality. Automated workflows also ensure that key compliance tasks aren't missed, reducing the risk of errors that could lead to funding clawback or audit failure. And also, by embedding validation steps and removing manual touch points, you can significantly lower the chances of critical mistakes being made. In summary, automating an Aptem doesn't just save time, it improves quality, consistency, and your ability to scale delivery while maintaining full compliance. So, just before we open up for questions, here's a very quick summary. Aptem provides the flexibility to set up short course delivery across your funded and non-funded provision. You can customize every part of the learner journey, from enrolment through to engagement and tracking. The platform offers built-in support for compliance and funding requirements, helping you stay audit ready. And everything is being managed through one streamlined system, reducing complexity and saving you time. So I'm going to have a look now and try and answer some of the questions that may have been submitted through the webinar. But thank you to anyone who's contributed. And like we say, if we don't get to every question, we'll make sure someone responds after this session. So I know Paul has been looking at questions as we've gone through, but let me just see if I've got any that we want to answer in this. I'm just checking through the question threads. So we have got a question about reviews and the review functionality, and asking that if the admin clicks save and close and not finish, will the learner see the content? And yes, review content is dynamic. So whenever a section is saved, all parties who have visibility to the review will see that section. So if a learner saves their answers, then that is visible to the admin, and similarly, if an admin saves their answers, that is visible to the learner. So they are dynamic and they do update in real time. So a lot of people have asked about how much is the extra functionality and does it fit into the one package? Most of what I've shown on the webinar today is available to all Aptem customers. So the ability to tailor your programs to do non-apprenticeship delivery is part of standard Aptem. The two bits of functionality I showed that do have extra charge would be the Teams communicator and the review summarization. Teams Communicator is the ability to link into your Teams licenses and automatically generate meetings and Teams invitations for reviews, meetings, and workshops, and then also for the reviews to pull those transcripts back. If you are using Teams and you are doing reviews through Teams, I would definitely recommend speaking to your customer success manager about the Teams communicator, because it is quite an effective option to reduce the burden of creating separate Teams invitations on top of review meetings. The review summarization, so that's Teams connection. The ability to pull a transcript or meeting notes is available to all customers. But what the Teams communicator allows you to do is pull that transcript through the click of a button. So rather than having to download it from your Teams instance and then upload it into Aptem, you can click a button and that transcript will automatically return. And for enterprise customers on our top tier package, from June, but also available for beta trials from next month, you will be able to get a summary of that transcript so that you could maybe change the way you do your reviews, whereby you have a high level conversation and then use the transcript and summary to then fill in some of the actual boxes on your review. So if you are interested in the Teams communicator or the review summarization, please do reach out to your customer success manager to ask for more details. However, with the exception of those two items, everything else I've shown today is part of your standard Aptem functionality. It's just about using the functionality you've got already in a slightly different way to deliver an alternative funding streams. Someone's asked about billing for commercial learners. Again, probably a question best for your customer success manager. But basically, our concept of billing is you are billed for any learners who are getting benefit of the platform. So if a commercial learner without an ILR is on an active delivery program and can get into Aptem, then you will get billed for them. If they are stopped, once you stop the program, you no longer get billed. So it's still a per learner per month billing, but it's for the duration of the commercial course. Whereas with an ILR learner, it's based on open aims. For a commercial learner, it's based on having a learner on an active delivery program. But if you are unsure about billing for non-apprenticeship funded learners, please do reach out to your customer success manager. We can share some information around that. And I'm just checking if there's any other questions that we need to answer live. I think quite a few of the other questions are quite specific. So if there's any that are very specific, we will, like I say, we'll get someone to reach out after the after this webinar to um, to to support. There was a question around integrations and which CRMs and accounting systems can Aptem integrate with. We offer a series of open APIs that allows you to integrate into various data points within Aptem. Those are available. If you actually search Aptem API, you can actually see in the public domain which APIs are available and which data points you can integrate with. If your CRM or accounting system also has an API functionality, then you would be able to use those two APIs to get the two systems talking to each other. I'm ever so sorry, I'm not technical, but we do have a technical support consultant in the team who can support you with understanding that functionality. We give you access to those APIs, but it is your responsibility to write the API calls. But like I say, we do have a technical consultant. So if you do have any questions about getting started with integration, please do reach out and we can put you in touch to have a brief initial call to just talk about the options and what CRMs we've successfully supported customers to integrate with. I'm just trying to see if there's any other questions. I think, like I say, a lot of the others are quite specific, and I'm aware we're sort of coming up to the end because we said this was going to be 45 minutes. So let me just move on and just draw your attention to some of the exciting upcoming events and webinars we've got. So our next main event that everyone's getting really excited about at Aptem is our Aspire Customer Conference, which is on Thursday, the 15th of May, which is 2 weeks on Thursday. We do still have a very small number of tickets available, and I promise this isn't a marketing ploy. We are virtually into single figures now. But if you are interested in attending, you've not yet booked your place, then please do contact your CSM and they can send you the link to be able to book one of those tickets. If you have already booked, we have opened up the workshops for booking now. So if you've not already done so, please do go and look at your email, which will be inviting you to select from the number of workshops that are happening on the day. Please do select those choices and then they can be added to your conference app and you'll be able to see all the information about those workshops. But that's coming up, like I say, 2 weeks on Thursday, and we're all getting very excited to meet a lot of you at that Aspire conference in Birmingham at the ICC. The other webinars we've got coming up in May and June, there is a webinar about the Help Centre enhancements. That's due to take place on the 27th of May, and that will talk you through some of the additional enhancements we're making to the Help Centre, which is including the new support functionality. So definitely worth registering for that one. And then we've got a webinar looking at a seamless apprenticeship enrolment process within Aptem, which is going to dive into a bit more detail about some of the onboarding options that you can use to get a really exciting start to your learner journey. So it will take that section of what I covered today in a lot more detail, and that's due to take place in June. So, like I say, if we haven't had a chance to answer your questions, please do be reassured we will reach out to you. I'm sorry you've only had to listen to me today. Paul, like I say, has been working busily in the background, but it's just not really fit to talk to us, but I'm sure he's been answering your questions well, and I do thank him very much for his support. But really, thank you to everybody for attending the webinar today. I hope you found it interesting and useful, and it's given you some ideas to go on and think about how you could use Aptem for some of your alternative provision. Without further ado, I will let you all get back to work and have the rest of your day. And like I say, we're all looking forward to seeing you, those of you who can attend at our Aspire conference. So thank you very much, everyone.